Good afternoon, everyone. Let us take up today's class, the lecture 5 on chemical kinetics. Here we shall know how to determine the rate law from simple experimental data. We will be solving a lot of problems today, numericals, and through numericals we shall know how to find out the rate law, the order with respect to a particular reactant. If there are more than one reactant, then order with respect to this, order with respect to that. Right? So there are so many methods. One of the methods is the differential method, or called initial rate method. That means you will be given a table, a data table, where you will be given the rates at different initial concentrations. Maybe if there is one reactant, or if there are two reactants, so the initial concentrations of the reactants are given and the corresponding initial rates are given. And by just comparing between the concentrations and the rates, you can be able to find the order of a particular reaction with respect to a particular reactant. Let's try to learn what is the differential method. Say, for example, if you are handling a first order, for example, R is equal to K into A to the power 1, right? This is the initial concentration of reactant and the corresponding rate. We shall take the rate, measure the rate at different initial concentrations. And since the power is 1, if the initial concentration is doubled, the rate will be doubled. If the initial concentration will be trebled, the rate will be trebled. If it will be quadrupled, this will be quadrupled. If it will be increased by 5 times, this will be increased by 5 times. To know that the order with respect to some reactant is 1, the symptom is if the concentration, initial concentration of the reactant increases n times. Write down with me, okay? N times, then the rate also increases by n times. We shall be doing solving a lot of problems together. Don't worry. If the concentration, it can be initial concentration. We call it initial concentration. This is actually T, AT. But we shall be taking at different initial concentration and initial rate. Right? Doesn't matter. If this will be T, this will be T. If this will be 0, this will be 0. Right? So we will be taking different initial concentration and different initial rates. Right? So if the number of times that the concentration of the reactant increases is n, then the rate also increases by n, because the power is 1 here. Understand? But if it is a second order reaction, see what happens. Rate A square. The power is 2 here. So if you increase the concentration of, initial concentration of A by n times, increases by n times, then the rate outside, in the left side, the rate increases by n square times. That means if you double the initial concentration here inside, then the square will be 2 to the power 2 will be 4. The rate will be increased by 4 times. If it increase the concentration by 3 times, then 3 to the power 2, 9 times the rate will be increased. If the initial concentration is increased by 4 times, 4 to the power 2, then the rate will be increased by 16 times. So the increase in the concentration of the reactant by n times makes the rate increase by n square times, then that is a symptom. That is definitely a second order process. Understand? Similarly, if I'm giving you another page for you to understand. Similarly, if this is a third order reaction, I'm sorry, a third order reaction, for example, we completed first order, second order, then third order. If the third order reaction with respect to a particular reactant, then if A0 increases by n times, rate, outside rate, rate is outside, in the left side, increases by, tell me, by n cube times. That means if you double the initial concentration, then 2 2s are 4 2s are 8, 2 to the power 3, 8. So the rate will be increased by 8 times. That will be an 8-fold increase in the rate. If the concentration is doubled, rate increases by 8 times. If the rate, the concentration of A is trebled 3 times, so 3 to the power 3, 27 times the rate will be increased. That is a symptom of third law. Then what is a symptom of zero order? So this is constant. There is no concentration term, that is 0. So rate remains constant. So if A0 increases by any times, by n times, tell me what shall I write? What shall I write? Tell me. The rate remains constant. Then that is the symptom of zero order reaction. You can increase the initial concentration 3 times, 4 times, but the rate remains constant. That is the symptom of zero order. With this background, supposing I'll tell you one more thing before we plunge into numerical problems. Let us take up this thing. One more thing. That is, say we have 2 reactants, K into A to the power, say 1, B to the power 2, right? Supposing. Then so for that, if there are more than one reactant, and to determine the order with respect to one reactant and other reactant is there, so you have to keep concentration of one reactant fixed. So for example, you want to find out the order with respect to B, you have to keep the concentration of A fixed. The initial concentration of A fixed. Change B concentration. Supposing it is whatever it was there, it will be doubled. Then rate will be increased by 4 times. If it will be tripled, then the rate will be increased by 3 to the power 2, 9 times. Square times it increases. We keep the concentration of one reactant fixed. Similarly, to determine the order with respect to A, then B0 is kept constant. The initial concentration of B remains constant. This remains constant. This varies. If this is doubled, rate is doubled, then it is overall order, the order with respect to A is 1. So once we determine the order, that the order is 2 with respect to B and 1 with respect to A, then if you double B and double A simultaneously, then for B it will be increased 4 times and for A it will be increased 2 times. So 4 into 2, the rate will be increased by 8 times. But to determine the order with respect to one reactant, you have to keep the other reactant concentration fixed. The initial concentration is to be kept fixed, and the one whose order is to be with respect to whose order is to be determined, you change the concentration, double it, see what is the rate happening. Then again double it, make it 3 times, see what happens. So if it is increasing by square times, it is second order. It is increasing by the same time, I mean 1 time, but whatever is the number of, and n times you are increasing the rate. So n times is the increase in the rate, n time is the increase in the concentration of reactant. Same times will be the increase in the rate. Then it is first order. So with this much of thing, and if it is zero order with respect to a certain reactant, then keeping this fixed, if this is doubled or trebled, then rate doesn't change, it remains constant. Therefore, the order with respect to this reactant A is 0. So with this much of discussion, we will take up example 1. All right. So this is, we are talking of the differential method, differential rate equation method, differential method, or it is called initial rate method. I will show you a table here. This is a reaction between ozone and nitric oxide to give you O2 and NO. So this description, you forget about it. I have copy pasted from some source. The creation of holes in the ozone layer is due to this. This is a pollutant gas now eating away ozone, converting to oxygen and NO2, I'm sorry, NO2. So suppose this reaction is carried out in a laboratory condition at 25 degrees Celsius, and study the kinetics. The following table gives the initial concentration of the reactants and the corresponding rate values obtained experimentally from the graph. You have to determine the order with respect to each reactant. Also, you have to find the rate law, that is rate equation and rate constant. What is the rate law? Rate law will be R is equal to K ozone to the power something into NO to the power something. Right? To the power Y, I'm sorry. So this power we have to find out. Looking to the, comparing the concentration of the initial concentration of the reactants and the rates, we have to find out the order. Just now we discussed. See, this is the table. We can have by 2 methods. Let me train you how to approach by inspection method. Concentration of NO, these are the 2 reactants, NO plus ozone products. Forget about products. In such type of reaction, you have to presume that product concentration will not come because it is not given, the data is not given, so it will not come in the rate law. You have to presume that only reactant concentrations will come in the rate law, and you have to find out the order with respect to NO and order with respect to ozone, right? So there are 5 experiments, 5 different rates. These are the rates, moles per liter per second or molarity per second. And this is the concentration, M is the molarity of NO and that of ozone. Now see the first experiment, the initial concentration of NO is this, and this is 3.10 to the minus 6, and the rate is this. Now see, compare between first and second experiment, where the concentration of NO is deliberately kept fixed and deliberately the ozone concentration is doubled. So what has happened to the rate? Has it been doubled or increased by 4 times? See, if you increase this by 6.6 into 4, it is 4 6 are 24, 2 4 6 are 24. No, it is not increasing by 4 times. Yes, no, it will be 2 times, I'm sorry, 2. It will be exactly 13.2 into 10 to the power minus 5. So that is equal to 1.32 into 10 to the power minus 4. That is the case. So we checked, keeping NO concentration fixed. If we increase the concentration of the other reactant ozone by two times, the rate also increases by 2 times. So with respect to, let us first write down like this. NO, let us keep this blank, and ozone, let us keep it blank. Now we have detected the order with respect to ozone because NO has been kept fixed. So ozone concentration is doubled and rate is also doubled. Immediately we know the order with respect to ozone is 1. It is a first order with respect to ozone. Now we have to test where the concentration of ozone is fixed. Now see, these two where ozone concentration is fixed. And while we change the concentration of NO, doubled it from 1 to 2, the rate has been increased by again 2 times. 2 8s are 16, 2 9s are 18, 1.98 into 2. Nearly. So it should be, 2 8s are exactly 2 times. So this also, there is a 2 times increase. So from this we also know the order with respect to NO is 1. So rate law is ready. The rate law is ready at our disposal. We may not look at the other data. For example, we want to verify the other data. Now see, compare between these two are constant, like these two are constants, and compare between this third data and fifth data. So when the rate has been increased 3 times, you know the rate also, sorry, when the concentration has increased by 3 times, the rate also has been increased by 3 times. You multiply by 3, exactly it will be 5.94 into 10 to the power minus 4. There will be some experimental error that you will be rounding off. It seems that as if it has been manipulated. This is the source from which I have copy pasted. So in the reality, when you carry out the experiment, you will never find exact multiplication tallies. There will be some error, experimental human error will be there. Rounding off to the nearest value, you will find a 2 times increase, 2 times increase. There is here 2 times increase. This is fixed. 2 times increase, 2 times increase. And in between this also is fixed. This 3 times increase, 3 times increase. So that also is a symptom of fast order reaction. So n times increase, fast order. N times increase internally, that means concentration. N square times increase, second order. And n times increase in internally, that is concentration, and the rate remains constant, 0 order. That's it. So once you know the rate law, then you can find out any data you take to find K. K is equal to R by NO concentration into ozone concentration. You take any data you can take the rate corresponding. Supposing we take this rate 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 5 by concentration of NO, since the order is 1, that much, 10 to the power minus 6, let me forget 1, into concentration of ozone. The corresponding concentration of ozone is 3 into 10 to the power minus 6. So whatever will be coming, that will be the rate constant, and the unit will be the order, the unit for second order. That will be molarity inverse, second inverse. You understood? Liter per mole per second, because it is second order. This will be second order, means it will be molarity inverse. Rate will be molarity per second. This will be coming denominator, molarity square. So it will be molarity to the power minus 1, second to the power minus 1. That is liter per mole per second. You understood? This is very simple. You can also do it by calculation method. Many students, they opt for calculation method. How? Let me tell you. Let us let us take the first and second data where you see the concentration of NO is fixed and it is doubled. So they take R1, say R, the first data by R2 is equal to concentration of that by concentration of concentration of the second data to the power n. So the n they determine because this is a first data to the power n and this is the second data to the power n, but you have to keep one concentration fixed. So let us take, it is visible here, R1 is 6.6 into 10 to the minus 5 by 1.32 into 10 to the power minus 4 is equal to the corresponding the variable data 3 into 10 to the minus 6 by 6 into 10 to the minus 6. That means double to the power n. So this is 1 by 2 and this is also 1 by 2. Then what will be n? Obviously n has to be equal to 1. So the order with respect to ozone is 1 because we have compared between this is fixed. Similarly, you take this constant and then again write R1 by R2, then R1 by R2 divided is equal to A0, and that is NO concentration by NO concentration to the power n. The NO concentration of the third data, NO concentration of the fourth data to the power n. There also you will get the order to be n is equal to 1. So by calculation method, you can, in some cases you will get 2, as we shall see later. So some students, they opt for the calculation method. I really detest it, and I will advise you go for inspection. You can just see the increase of this many factor makes the increase in the rate by either same times or square times or q times or remains constant, right? Then we shall proceed very fast now. Now, this is a question. We have finished this question. If the concentration of NO and ozone are simultaneously increased by, same question, it is referring to the same question. If the concentration of NO and ozone are simultaneously increased by 5 times each in the reaction of example 1, then by what factor a rate increases? Already we have determined the rate law, that is NO to the power 1 and ozone to the power 1. So here it will be 5 to the power 1 and 5 to the power 1. So rate will be increased by will be 25 times. So 5 into 5, 25 times, right? So from NO side 5 times increase and from ozone side also 5 times increase. So altogether, since it is a product, so altogether there will be 25 times hike in the rate if simultaneously NO and ozone are increased by 5 times each. Now let us, you will be solving these problems in class. Another type of table, same type of this. There are 3 data. Same problem, A giving product, only one reactant. Whether it is second order, first order, or 0 order, let us find out. Keeping here, no, there is no keeping constant. There is only change. So when this is doubled, see, from 1 to 2, exactly it is doubled. When it is increased by 2 times, first let us write down this format. This let us put this power blank, right? So when concentration of A is increased by 2 times, the rate increases by 4 times. That means square times. So if you can multiply 4 here, this will be exactly coming 8.24 in 10 to the minus 12. So undoubtedly the reaction, the order is 2 with respect to A. You can check also. From between this to this, from this to this, again there is an increase in 2 times. from second data and third data, there is increase in 2 times. You will find, and there will be again increase by 4 times. If you multiply 8.24 into 4, this will be 33 into 10 to the minus 11. This will be 3.396 into 10 to the power minus 10. So this is same that is given. That will be, yes, this is what is acceptable. There must be some human error. It cannot be exactly 3.396. Experimentally determined. It's not experiment. Definitely a human error factor is there. You can't rule out, right? So with respect to, if you have no time in the examination, you just test it between any 2. You'll find the order is 2. Forget. Then don't waste your time to compare between second data and third data. You will get the same information. And once you, I forgot to tell you one thing. In a long type question, when you are asked to find K, you have to find out the K values from all the data. It will be more or less same and take the average. But long type questions you hardly get. So any single data you put, get the K value. MCQ, you'll find one very close to that. Even a long time type question, because experimental error is there, so it will be averaged out. If you find K from all the data, it will be more or less same, but you take the average to get the most acceptable value of K. You understand? So K will be equal to rate by A square. You take any data. Supposing I will take this data. 7 into 10 to the minus 3. Sorry, rate. Rate is here. I am so sorry. 3.3 into 10 to the minus 10 by 7 into 10 to the minus 3 square, A square. And you get the value. So whatever you get the value, that will be the unit of the K value of the second order, that is molarity inverse, second inverse. Second order means molarity inverse, second inverse, or liter mole inverse, second inverse, right? Similar type of problem you will be getting. One more problem, then I will ask you to solve the rest at home, right? Now see, the following data were obtained for reaction 2A plus B2 to AB. Forget about this 2 and this 1 has nothing to do. The order is determined experimentally. By chance, this stoichiometric coefficient can match with the order. That is maybe by chance. If it is, let me sound you from in an advance. If it is an elementary reaction, one-step reaction, then stoichiometric coefficient will be the order. But if it's a complex reaction, the order changes. The stoichiometric coefficient no longer remains as the order. Sometimes it becomes a fraction, sometimes less than that, right? So here there are to immediately write down the rate law, leaving the powers. These powers you leave, that we will be putting. Now A concentration in these 2 data are kept fixed. And now it is doubled here 2 times. And C, compare what has happened. Exactly doubled. Exactly doubled. Is it not back calculated? Exactly 2 times. So with respect to B, because A is constant means you are determining the order with respect to B. So B work is over. B, the order is 1. Right? Now you look to the data 2 and data 3, where the B concentration is kept constant. And while doubling the concentration of A, the rate remains constant. Tell me, with respect to A, what is the order? Tell me. It is 0. You have increased the concentration 2 times. Even you can do 3 times, 4 times, but the rate will remain constant. And that is the symptom of a 0-order reaction. So in that case, this goes out from the rate law. So rate law finally becomes, rate equation finally becomes K into B to the power 1. So it is a first order reaction. It may be a, it cannot be called a pseudo fast order reaction because the concentration is so low, but it may so happen that it is out from the, it may so happen in a complex reaction, it can happen. It may be totally eliminated from the rate law. In such a case, it will happen. But it cannot be a pseudo. In pseudo fast order, one of the reactants should be taken in large excess. If B is of this magnitude, then it will be 70 m or 100 m. Then it will be called a pseudo unimolecular. But it is not a pseudo first order, but it is zero order with respect to A and first order with respect to B. So it is a first order reaction. Rate constant K is equal to R by B concentration. So A is out. So you take any data. Supposing we take the second data here, 3.2 into 10 to the minus 4 divided by the corresponding B data, 1. That is equal to same 3.2 10 to the minus 4, but molarity will cancel. This is m and this is moles per second. So ultimately second inverse is the unit of rate constant for fast order reaction. So this is the rate law is this. You cannot keep a to the power 0 in the rate law. Once you know it is 0 power, then you eliminate a from the rate law. It becomes only k into b to the power 1. Understood? These are simple things. So can you do this at home? You will definitely solve this SAQ2 at home, and I will tell you, this is a different type of problem. I will give you a hint how to solve this problem. Slightly different. See, the following data were obtained for the this reaction. Mercury chloride with potassium oxalate give you KCl, mercurous chloride, white precipitate, and carbon dioxide. Find the rate equation. Right? And also K value. Find the rate law or rate equation and K value. Now, there are 3 data, 1, 2, 3. The different time intervals are given, 60 minutes. The mercury chloride concentration is given, potassium oxalate concentration is given, and the product, one of the product concentration is given. But rate is not given. But we need rate. We need rate in order to know the orders with respect to each reactant. These are the reactants. We have to find the orders with respect to each reactant. We have to know the rate. The rate cannot be determined from reactant because the initial rate is not known. This is the concentration at 60 minutes, but this is the product. So you will have to find have another column, rate column. So here you have to take average rate. You have to satisfy yourself by finding the average rate. That is dx by dt, delta x by delta t. So the change in concentration, because initially we do not know what was the initial concentration, but product was 0. Therefore, whatever is the x, that is the total product concentration at time 60 minutes. So dx by dt, that is delta x by delta t. That means this concentration, this by this. You make another column, write down. That is the rate at 60 minutes. Similarly, 65 minutes. So this divided by 65. That is the average rate at 65 minutes. So this by this. So you first find out the average rates. Doesn't matter, instantaneous rates are not given. So then this column is to be forgotten. Once you find the rate, then this column is to be forgotten. Then see if these two are constant, then this is doubled, then what has happened to the rate? Then when these two remains constant, then this is halved, then what has happened to this? Or you study in the opposite way, if this from this side, from upward, downward to upward, it is doubled, then what has happened to the rate? If it is halved, then the rate is also halved, then it is fast order. If it is halved and it decreases by 4 times, it becomes 1 by 4, then it is second order. Or if you go from bottom to top, it is increased 2 times, then first order. This increase 2 times, and then increase 4 times, it is second order. And if it increases 2 times, the rate remains constant, then it is 0 order. So you find out and you tell me, and I will send you the answer later, but you have to do it first. I will upload it today for you to see and study of your own. Then let us, and this is very similar. Rates are given, so you can do it very easily. One reactant, only one reactant. So only, you compare between these three, where there is a whole number multiple. Here 1.5 times, here 3 times. So it is better to compare between 1 and 3. When there is a 3 times increase in the initial concentration of the reactant, this is also 3 times. So it is fast order with respect to. You can also see if this first and 2, when you increase by 1.5 times, then it is also increased by 1.5 times. Because if you multiply 1.6 into 1.5, it will be nearly coming. Let me 1.6 into 1.5 is exactly 2.4. So you can take any two data. If you don't have time, just compare between, if there is a single reactant species, so you compare between any two data which is suitable for you 3 times. Here also you can check 4 times. Also here you will be 4 times. 16 4s are 64. So it is a very, so rate will be equal to, we have already done together. So it's not a home task. This is ethyl chloride to the power 1. It is a first order reaction, right? And you can find out the rate constant. K is equal to any rate. But actually, since it is experimental data, you find all the K values and take the average of it. K is equal to rate by ethyl chloride concentration to the power 1. Put any data, you get K. For MCQ, it will solve the purpose. Similarly, here also rate is given. You are master to find out the order. This is again single reactant. So many data. What is the need of so many data? 10 minutes, 26 minutes, doesn't matter. The initial concentration and the instantaneous rates are given, find the rate law. So what best we can take? What best? No, I think let us use it by formula method, okay? By calculation method, please. So which one we take? You suggest. Any two will do, but let us take these two. Okay. These two. Rate R1, any two, R1 by R2 is equal to the corresponding concentration to the power n. N is the order, right? Supposing we take 8 into 10 to the power minus 5 by here 1.8 into 10 to the power. Let us make this one. This is R1. Sorry, let us take this R1, this is R2. This is A01, this is A02. Right? Because it will be better for us if you keep higher things in the numerator. So 1.8, no, this is higher. This is higher, no. This is lower, no. What we did before was correct. Let us take this as R1, this is R2, and this is A01, this is A02, this one. Any two data. So R1, the rate will be 8 into 10 to the power minus 5 by 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. And the corresponding concentration is 0.0044 by the corresponding concentration is 0.002 to the power n. So let us calculate here. I am having the calculator with me. This will be 8 divided by 1.8. It will be exactly, I am writing here with a different color to be more specific, 4.444 recurring. is equal to, let me 0.0044 divided by 0.002. This is 2.2 to the power n. So by inspection method, you can say n is equal to 2, because 2.2 into 2.2. You need not go for the log method. 2.2 into 2.2, because the orders in this type of questions is not fractional. Mostly they're elementary reactions, so order will be whole number, so not fractional. So n 2.2 into 2.2 is how much? Let me 2.2 into 2.2. It is coming 4.84 actually. So we are getting 4.4. So experimental error has to be taken into account. 2.2. So this is a real boy who has done the experiment with a lot of errors. Errors really do happen. So you have to say 2.2 into 2.2. It is coming 4.84, but actually the rate ratio has been found to be 4.444. Let me check again. 8 divided by 10 to the minus 5 is common. 8 divided by 1.8. 4.444. So let us check another one. So approximately n is approximately equal to 2. If you exactly find out by taking a log of this and n log 2.2, find the value, take anti-log and find n, it will be coming 1.9 something, and you will be rounding up to the whole number. Let us now take data 1 and data 2, for example. Everyone will be taking data 1 and data 2. Forget about the time. Time is not required because rate is given already. These time data are superfluous. If the product data is given, then would have divided by the time and get the rate. But rate is given. So 8 by 5 is equal to 0.0044 by 0.0034 to the power n. So which implies 8 by 5 is how much? Let's see. 8 divided by 5. It is 1.6. So what is happening? 1.6 is equal to, and here 0.0044 divided by 0.0034. It is 1.294. Say we can call it 1.3. 1.294, we can make it 1.3 to the power n. So 1.3 into 1.3, if it is power is 2, it is something else. It is 1.69, but it is coming 1.6. So approximately here also we are getting n is equal to approximately 2. So these are data having experimental error. So we can round off the value. The order is 2, right? So better whenever you find a inspection method is creating problems, then you can go for this. If there are more than one reactant, when the two are fixed, you forget about that. The two data where the concentration is fixed, you forget about. Take the one which is doubled or tripled. So take that and the corresponding rate by rate, concentration by concentration to the power n, you find out n, right? Usually that n is found out by inspection method. Again, that also by inspection method. Now, another method is the integration method. You have to use the integrated law. Here we didn't use any integrated law. Simply found the dx by dt from the slope of the concentration versus time graph. That is the rate, experimental rate graph, and then concentration at different times. The initial concentrations at different times and the corresponding rate. That is called differential method. But integral method, we have to use successively, eliminating whether it is a first order or second. If first order kinetics doesn't support the data, doesn't agree with the data, then you go for second order. If that fails, you go for the zero order. So in this way, you can find out the order and hence the rate law. Now let us first look to this. Here, rate data are not given. If the rate data is not given, then you have to use integrated log, which we have done for every order we have found out, right? So here is the problem. Let me just take a break. Let me take a pause. Let us take this example to know how the integrated law is used. Oxalic acid, see, oxalic acid decomposes to give you carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, water, right? For this reaction, following data were obtained while monitoring the reactant concentration at different time intervals. Only the concentrations and the time is known. We don't have any other thing. We don't have much data, drawing the, drawing the graph, finding the rate, finding the concentration versus time graph, and then at different times take the slope, a tangent and that slope, and that is rate. So we don't have that thing. We have only the time. Here time will be required, different time intervals, and the concentration either of the reactant we have monitored or the product, right? This was done by the titration. This is titration of oxalic acid, because the oxalic acid is the reactant, oxalic acid with the standard potassium permanganate solution, acidified potassium permanganate solution. Prove that it is fast order. Rather, we are lucky here, the question says it is fast order. That means we have to use the first order integrated law and find the K value remains the same for at least two data. At least two data, if K remains constant, then we are sure that it is fast order. But if it is a subjective question, you have to find all the three K values and take the average. It will be coming close, not widely different. If it is widely different, then it cannot be a fast order. You have to go to the second order integrated law, put the values and find the K value, which will be coming close, right? Now, the first thing is, what is this N? The different time, the initial time. N. N, what is N in milliliter? I will tell you. N. 300 minutes after 17. 450 minutes after 15. 1200 minutes after 7.9. So what is this N? N is the titer value in milliliter. That is the volume of the standard potassium permanganate solution required to completely react with the fixed volume of the reaction mixture. Because supposing you have taken in 5 test tubes, same quantity of oxalic acid, the reactant, same quantity, concentration is same, you are heating. Before heating, before starting the reaction, you try to know what is the amount of oxalic acid. You can do that by titration. To know the value of oxalic acid present initially before reaction, that is A0. So this value will be proportional to A0, initial concentration. Proportional to, I tell you, because you are not taking the oxalic acid value, you do not know what is the molarity, what is the normality of permanganate. It's not given. It's not given what volume of oxalic acid solution you have taken, nothing. But since they are proportional, the titer value of potassium permanganate that is obtained will be corresponding to the concentration of the reactant at the corresponding time. If it is 0 time, then it is initial concentration. And all these values are 80 values. 80 at 300 minutes, 80 at 450, 80 at 1200. So remember, whenever you get such a data where the time is increasing and the data is decreasing, then undoubtedly that fellow is monitoring the reactant. Reactant, that means those values are 80. They are proportional to 80 because we will be using a ratio. In the first order integrated law, you get a ratio. So there is no point in getting the absolute value of oxalic acid. So whatever is the titer value you are getting from the titration experiment, so that volume will be proportional to the amount of oxalic acid that is reactant present at any time. So this value is fixed, will be used for all, it is A0. And all other values are 80. So what we do here, we have to find 3K values. This is to be left. That A0 value will be used for all the three. So let us first use this time. Let's write as K1. See whether the K values are coming close. We are using, let us use first order kinetics. 2.303 by T. What is T? Let us take the first T. That is 300 minutes. This minutes, right? Log this A0 by 80. A0 is always fixed for all. By 80 is 17. This is ratio. So therefore the titer values will also be proportional. So there is no need to find oxalic acid. Its equivalent amount of potassium permanganate, that also the same ratio will be there. So don't worry about that. So take the value which will be corresponding to 80. This is 80 and this is constant A0. And you find out. Let me help you. Just find out. This is 22. 22 divided by 17 is this much, and it's log. It's log. That is coming 0.111. That means 1.119 into 10 to the power. No. It is not yet over. So let me write down this 2.3. This is 0.1119, and let us see what is the other value. This is 2.303 divided by 300. This is 0.00767 into 0.1119. So final answer becomes, let me put it in this form, 8.59 into 10 to the power minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there are 3 zeros, then 8, then 8.5 for 9 into 10 to the minus 4. And since it is fast order, it will be minute inverse. Because the time is in minutes, this will be time inverse, right? And let us now find the second K value. At least go for the second one. To see almost the same value you will be getting. Almost. So let it be called K2. No, these will be constants, but let us call it K2. Because we will be taking the average of that. Right? So the same 2.303 by the new time period is 450. Log A0 is constant. 22 by 80 here will be 15. So you will find, let me spend time, this value is fixed. No, not fixed. Every value has changed. So let me do that. At least this value, let me do that. So 22 divided by 15 is 1.666. Its log is 0.166. And 2.303 divided by 450 is 0.00511. Always take at least 3 significant digits. I have taken 4. 2 zeros into 0.1 663. It is coming almost the same. It is coming 8.51 into 10 to the power minus 4. Very, very close. So the third value also you find out, that is 2.303 by 1200 log same 22 in the numerator and the denominator 87.9. You will be getting almost the same, and take the average of these three k values and that will give you the k value. Find, this is done by titration, find the value of k. Somewhere it will be written. No, it's not written, but it should be written. Find the value of k. Rate constant. So this will be k1. So the average value of k is k1 plus k2 plus k3 by 3. It will be averaged out. You know, human errors are always there. So when it will be averaged out in 3 experiments, so it will be giving you the best acceptable result, right? So let us, in another numerical, we will be following the product. Then let's see to what it will be proportional to, which is A0, which is 80, which is X. If you are following product, then that is X. And what is A0? A0 will be found when all the reactants will be converted to product. That is called at infinite time period, right? Whenever in any data in this type of problem, when there is no rate given, the table doesn't carry any rate, but time and concentration of the product, then definitely when time increases, zero time will not be there because there is no product at zero time. So in such cases where product concentration is monitored, that case you will find a last data that is infinite time, means not that 100 years or 200 years. What is done actually when you are carrying out a reaction, say at 70 degrees centigrade in a water bath or in some oil bath you are doing, in a thermostatic bath you are doing, right? So what is done? Supposing this guy is a very impatient guy. He has taken only 2 experiments. 10 minutes, he has taken a test tube and measured what is the volume of nitrogen formed. So this is the decomposition of solid ammonium nitrate to form nitrogen. The fellow has collected nitrogen, and these are the volumes of nitrogen. Nitrogen is the product. So he is monitoring the increase in the concentration of the product. But you know the rate will be decreasing, right? Rate always decreases. The rate of increase in the concentration of the product decreases, right? As you know, the graph goes like this. So the slopes goes on decreasing. Anyway, he is following the product. Now, so the final value, the infinite time is corresponding to A0, because all reactant goes means all product. That means all product means all reactant. So this is proportional. These are products. These are all X values. So A0 minus X only can give you 80. We need 80 in the denominator in the first order kinetics. So you have to prove that this is also a first order reaction. It is already given that you have to prove. You have to prove that. So if it is not given, you can try first order. If you get, if you fail, at least 2 data. You have 2 data, just like there in the case, in the earlier case where the reactant concentration was monitored. There the 0 time data was given. That is not to be used. That is constant A0 value. Here the infinite data will not be used. It will be kept. I mean, that will be used with everyone. Only the 2 time data. So K1 at 10 minutes time, let us find out 2.303 by 10 minutes log A0 is this one. The infinite time corresponds to A, that is fixed. And AT will be A0 minus X, that is 35.05 minus 6.25. That will be 80. So you find out what is the value in minute inverse. And the second data, there are only 2 data. We are lucky here. So this will be 2.303 by 25. Log A0 is fixed, that is 35.05, and 80 will be 35.05 minus x. At the time 25 minutes, x is 13.65. So A0 minus x will be 80 at that time. So you find what is the K2 value. You will be finding very, very close to each other. Then say it is in agreement with first order kinetics because the two K values are nearly the same, but they will be slightly different in the second place decimal or third place decimal. You average out and place before your examiner the average K value, right? So there is another method, what we call half-life period method. To determine the rate law and order, if you get a data, different initial concentration data and the corresponding half-life period. Supposing this is the initial pressure, this is a gas reaction. Supposing a gas phase reaction, A gives products. We want to find out the, so when the initial concentration is 50, then half-life period is 3.52. When the initial concentration is 100, it is 1.82. When the initial concentration is 200, it is 0.93. So if you go in a reverse manner, when the concentration is decreasing, then the half-life period is increasing. So this cannot be fast order. It cannot be zero order. In zero order, it decreases, it becomes half. Every half-life period is the half of the previous half-life period. So only in case of second, third, and of course there is no order higher than 3. We will know about that. Maximum order with respect to one reactant will be 3, not beyond 3. Of course, nowadays fourth order reaction has been found out, but not with respect to a single reactant. So from our common sense, we know it is never ever zero order or fast order. It has to be second or third. Let us use that, the formula method, that this. So, we have already discussed that initial concentration, half-life period is inversely proportional to the initial concentration to the power n minus 1. So if you take the ratio T.51 by T.52 is equal to Kk will be cancelled. So A02 by A01 to the power n minus 1. So this is 1 is here, 1 is here, 2 is here, 2 is here, because they are inversely proportional and the power is n minus 1. So you put the data, one set of data, let us put initial concentration 50 and 100. Here the two data, this is 2, this is 1. So and the corresponding half-life period is 2 and 1. So the 1 by 2, 1 is 3 point, this is 1, this is 2, data 1, data 2. So T.51, 3.52 by data 2, that is 1.82 is equal to, and A02 is 100 by corresponding A01 is 50 to the power n minus 1. Right? In this type of problems, n is a whole number. Remember this. So you have to round off. So let us find out what is 3.52 by 1.82, right? 3.52 divided by 1.82. This comes 1.934 is equal to, this is 2 to the power n minus 1. So is it not approximately equal to 2? If you say it is 2, this is approximately equal to 2, then what will be the n? N cannot be 1. 1 minus 1, 0, anything to the power 0 is 1. So here 2, here 1, not possible. If n is equal to 2, then 2 minus 1, 1. So this will be approximately equal. So n will be 2. It cannot be 3. If it is 3, it will be 2 square, 4. But you cannot round up 1.93 to 4. So the only possibility of whole number is n is equal to 2. Then the two sides are more or less equal. By that, you can know the order with respect to that reactant is 2. Then you can write out the rate law A to the power 2. And I have not given you ammonia decomposition, ammonia to the power 2. Right? So with this, and I have given you numericals here. We will be discussing in the next class the two numericals I have given, and one is from the carbon 14 decay to determine the age of an old wooden sample, say old wooden bowl which has been found out from excavation. Say it has got carbon 14. We'll be talking about that. And another equation, another problem from the NCERT book. You try, and if you fail, then we will do it in our next program. With this, I close today's session.